AITA for refusing to attend my brother's graduation after years of being treated like the family disappointment. So, here's the deal. I, 25F, have always felt like the black sheep in my family. My younger brother, Mark 22M, is the golden child. Growing up, he could do no wrong in our parents' eyes. He got praised for every little thing he did, while my achievements were barely acknowledged. When I graduated from high school, my parents gave me a small family dinner at home. It was nice, but nothing extraordinary. Meanwhile, when Mark graduated from high school, they threw him a huge party with all our relatives and friends invited, catered food, a DJ, the works. I tried not to let it bother me, thinking maybe they just had more money to spare by the time he graduated. Fast forward to my college graduation. I worked my butt off for 4 years, juggling part-time jobs and internships, maintaining a high GPA, and even graduating with honors. My parents threw me another small dinner at home, just the immediate family. They told me they were proud, but their actions didn't reflect the. Now, Mark is about to graduate from college, and my parents are planning an even bigger celebration for him. They've booked a fancy venue, hired a live band, and even ordered a custom cake with his face on it. They're inviting everyone, extended family, friends, neighbors, you name it. They're acting like it's the event of the year, and I'm supposed to be just as excited. I've tried to bring up the disparity before, but my parents always brush it off, saying things like, Mark is just more social, or we didn't have the money for a big celebration back then, but now it just feels like they never really cared about my accomplishments as much as they do about his. It's not about the money, it's about the blatant favoritism. I finally decided to confront my parents about it. I told them how hurt I was that they never celebrated my achievements the way they celebrate Mark's. I brought up specific examples and asked why there was such a huge difference in how they treated us. My mom sighed and said, "You know, Mark has always been more outgoing and involved in things. We just want to support him," I replied, "but what about me? I've achieved a lot too, but you never made me feel special or celebrated. It feels like I'm not as important to you." My dad chimed in, "It's not like that, honey. We love you both. We just thought you'd understand that Mark needs more encouragement." I was fed up. I told my parents that I'm not going to Mark's graduation. They're furious and calling me selfish and ungrateful. They're saying I'm ruining Mark's big day and making it all about me. But I'm tired of being treated like my achievements don't matter. AITA for finally standing up for myself and refusing to attend. Edit. Wow, I didn't expect this post to blow up. Thanks for all the support and kind words. To answer a few common questions. Yes, I've tried talking to my parents about this many times over the years. They always have some excuse or brush it off. Mark is aware of the situation. He's always been the golden child and enjoys the attention. He's never really stood up for me, but I guess it's not his fault entirely. I've thought about going no contact, but it's complicated. I still care about my family and want a relationship with them, but this favoritism is too much to handle. I'm considering talking to my parents one last time and maybe even writing them a letter explaining my feelings. If that doesn't work, I'll have to seriously reevaluate my relationship with them. Thanks again for all the advice and support. Update 1. First off, thank you to everyone who commented on my original post. I didn't expect it to get so much attention, and I appreciate all the support and advice. After reading through your comments, I decided to take some of your suggestions and try to address this situation once more. I took a few days to calm down and gather my thoughts. I wrote a detailed letter to my parents, explaining exactly how I felt over the years. I mentioned specific instances where their favoritism was evident and how it made me feel like I was always second best. I also pointed out that it wasn't about the money or the size of the celebrations, but about the consistent lack of recognition and support for my achievements. I handed them the letter and asked them to read it when they had some quiet time to really absorb what I was saying. A couple of days later, they asked to sit down and talk. My heart was pounding because I had no idea how this conversation was going to go. Surprisingly, they both apologized. My mom admitted that they had been more focused on Mark because he's always been the more social and outgoing one, and they thought he needed more encouragement. My dad said he hadn't realized how hurtful their actions had been and that they had taken my independence and success for granted. They promised to do better and asked if there was anything they could do to make it right. I told them it wasn't about one big gesture, but about consistently showing they value me and my achievements. I suggested we start by having a small family celebration for my recent promotion at work, which they agreed to. As for Mark, we had a separate conversation. I explained how I felt about the favoritism and how it affected me. He was a bit defensive at first, but eventually he acknowledged that he had always enjoyed the attention and hadn't really considered how it made me feel. He apologized and said he'd tried to be more supportive and aware of our parents' actions. I've decided to attend Mark's graduation after all, but with the understanding that this is a fresh start for all of us. I'm cautiously optimistic that things will improve, but I'm also prepared to set boundaries if they don't. Thanks again to everyone who reached out. Your advice and encouragement gave me the push I needed to address this head-on. I'll keep you updated on how things go from here. Final update. Hi everyone, it's been a few weeks since my last update, and I wanted to share how things have progressed. Thank you again for all the support and advice. It truly made a difference. After my parents and I had our heart-to-heart, I felt a mix of relief and apprehension. They seemed genuine in their apologies, but I was worried things might slip back to the way they were. However, I decided to give them a chance. The celebration for my promotion was a small, intimate gathering with close family and a few friends. It wasn't extravagant, but it was heartfelt, and for the first time, I felt truly recognized and appreciated by my parents. They gave a short speech about how proud they were of my achievements and how they regretted not showing it sooner. It was a significant moment for me. As for Mark's graduation, I went with an open mind. The event was just as big and grand as planned, but this time my parents made a point to acknowledge my support and presence in front of everyone. It felt like a step in the right direction. In the weeks that followed, I noticed a genuine change in my parents' behavior. They've been more attentive and inclusive, asking about my work and showing interest in my life. It's a work in progress, but the effort is there, and it's more than I had before. Mark and I have also been working on our relationship. We've had a few more honest conversations about our upbringing and how it shaped us. He's been more considerate and has even started celebrating my successes in small ways, like sharing my accomplishments with his friends and making time to catch up with me. I've learned a lot through this process, especially about setting boundaries and voicing my feelings. It's been empowering, and I'm hopeful for the future. Things aren't perfect, but they're better, and that's a good start. I'm incredibly grateful for the Reddit community. Your advice helped me take the steps I needed to address this long-standing issue. Thank you for giving me the courage to stand up for myself and work towards a healthier relationship with my family. Like and subscribe for more stories.